One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Michael, do you still own apartments in the Trump buildings?
I do. It's my primary.
Oh,
yeah.
that's where you. That's okay. Good.
Yeah. The other ones I lost.
When you came out of jail and you came
prison.
back, when you came out of federal prison. Remember, I didn't graduate high school. Okay, so I'm using. I'm using blue collar language here, like cab drivers and bodega owners. That's what we use, blue collar language. When you went to Cipriani and you got into some kind of fist fight and they threw you out. I mean, what you came back to New York to start trouble here? What's going on there?
So the answer to that is no. What ended up happening? It's interesting.
You got into a fight.
I did.
Okay. So the answer isn't no.
So you brought up earlier about what this cost me, not just emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, but also what it cost me in terms of status. Now, I'll give you the example. I was the chairman of the board of trustees at an Upper East Side private school.
What's the name of the school?
It was called Columbia Prep.
Okay.
And I had worked with the executive board for a decade, for 10 years. And we had successfully raised money. This one guy's name is Neil, who was the initial chairman of the board for a very long time. One of the greatest guys in history for any school. He raised more money than any human being I've ever met in my entire life. Just an absolute hero for any school. And after he had to resign because of the way the bylaws, after I don't even know how many years he was on, he asked me to take over, and I did. And we put over 1,100 kids through that private school, tuition free, by raising money, not to mention rebuilding the school to over 100,000 square feet.
A lot of these kids were minorities?
Yes. When Donald Trump won the election, there was so much rage and fury about his win that they actually took a mental health day. No, I'm not joking.
I remember that.
They took a mental health day, and I was called in by the board and asked to step down. And I was like, why? Your affiliation to Donald Trump. And I said, so what? He's the president of the United States. Yeah, but... And I was like, you got to be joking me. Well...
They sounded constipated.
Worse than constipated. Then, a while later, we were members of... It's a social club called Casa Cipriani, which is down by the South Sea Streetport.
I've been wanting to be a member there, and I haven't had the opportunity.
Yeah,
but
well, I was a member, and probably one of the 5 most recognized and consistent members. I also had been friends with Giuseppe Cipriani many years earlier when he had his own troubles with taxes and then ended up fleeing to Italy. But he's got his son there, Majro. And I'm there with my wife and friends, and we went outside to see other friends who were sitting outside on the terrace.
This was after you came out of prison?
After I came out, yeah. And there were 3 elder gentlemen sitting at a table. One was around my age, 2 were older, maybe late 70s, early 80s. And I walked outside.
These were white guys?
Yeah, Italian.
Italian.
And I walked outside, and this is the craziest story. My wife was behind me, and she comes and she goes, these guys at the table just turned around and said something. It's in the New York Post. They said something horrific, that you must be a whore to be sleeping with such a rat. So she said something to me. Well, to anybody who really knows me, it's probably not a smart thing to say without. So I had no idea who these people were because I didn't notice them on the way heading to see friends that's sitting outside. And when I saw them, these three altacacas, which means like old pishers, I started to laugh. And I was like, forget it, hun. I said, you're talking about three, moronic geriatrics. Well, as we're leaving, they decide they want to get up and fight. So I'm like, are you guys really sure? I trained in Muay Thai for about 8-9 years.
I could see you're buff. You're buff.
One fight actually put me in the hospital at NYU. I thought they split my kidney. I took a kick to the side that was horrific. You have no idea. Oh, that was pain. Suffice it to say, I was like, guys, do me a big favor. I said, I'm going to hit first. He was the one that was around my side. I'm going to put you to sleep in a half second. You going to have a heart attack watching it happen, and oh, am I going to embarrass you fierce? Then some young kid shows up in his 20s. And I said to him, little boy, do me a favor, go away because you're going to get hurt, right? Very badly. And when I finish, because I'm going to go crazy, I'm going to throw you over the side of the building. So do me a big favor. Oh, yeah. And then this guy, Carlo, comes in. He's holding me back. Carlo's a big dude. He's like, I don't know, 6'4", but solid, And he's like, oh, Mr. Cohen, please. And I was like, Carlo, relax. I'll tell you what, we'll do it outside. So the kid said, yeah, let's take it outside. Happy to do so.
A 20-year-old.
Yeah, so in his 20s.
Punk.
And Punk is right. And so, sometimes be careful what you wish for because it may come true. Next thing I know, I'm in Italy. I was sent there by Rai Television, Rai 1. They had me there to speak. Speaking engagement.
Wait, you left Cipriani's at that point?
Yeah, we got thrown out.
But what happened with the kid?
You all got thrown out.
No, so we all left. We finished dinner, and then we just left.
Okay, you didn't get thrown out. You all just left.
Correct. We just left on our own.
So the post story is a little bit exaggerated.
No. It's no. Where the post continues is we then all left after the post isn't 100% correct.
Yeah.
So surprising. So next thing, the next day we were leaving for Italy because I had a speaking engagement in Italy by Rai Television, Rai 1, with a guy. He has the coolest name of all time, Massimo Giletti. And I was like, how do I get a name like that? Michael Cohen or Massimo Giletti. It oozes with like sex.
It's like sex. It is, man. It's sexy.
It was great. So we go to Italy, my wife and I, and we have the speaking engagement. While I'm sitting there, all of a sudden she gets an email that says, your membership has been terminated. I was like, what? Next thing, I get the same email. Your membership has been terminated. We've been members there for like 4 years. Since the day they opened. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I can't believe it, right? And I tried to call Carlo. Nobody would take my phone call. So I said, okay, fine, no problem. So there's plenty of places to eat. And now I won't go back to a Cipriani. I won't support them anymore, which is interesting because, like I said, when Giuseppe had problems with the IRS going back years earlier, I offered to help him. Yeah, I offered to help him.
Listen, I'll tell you.
But then again, kids aren't like their parents.
Michael, listen, man.
It's cost me everything. Could you imagine this? What's that, Mateo? Could you imagine? So here, because I was on Trump's side, I got removed as chairman of the board. And then because it was perceived that I was the anti-Trump, I get thrown out of Casa Cipriani. They should be embarrassed.
Let's go one step further. How about all the lawyers that were punished for being on Trump's side?
Yeah.
Tell us about it because I don't think a lot of the audience knows about that.
Many people who were involved in the campaign from 2016 on through his successful first-term win were targeted. And interestingly enough, they weren't just targeted by Democrats, they were targeted. They were targeted
the
as
Bar
well
Association.
by Republicans and mostly the Bar Association. It's amazing to me that this is how the system works, and it's why most people want to be like an ostrich, stick your head in the sand, and come up and hope that nobody sees you.
Vindication, Michael. You know what's gratifying? is when you have gone through what you've gone through and you come out bigger and stronger. You need to consider a run for New York City mayor. I'm serious when I tell you this. I believe that you have people on both sides of the aisle. I think that you would be a great leader. You have the experience. And we're announcing it here on WABC. I would like to see you run for mayor in the next 3.5 years because I think that you would make a great mayor in New York City. You want to hear something that Trump
used to say to people all the time? There's nobody who's got a better, sharper pencil than Michael when it comes to a budget.
There you go.
It's honestly what he used to turn around and say, because when he would have something going on, we would turn around, we would look at it. Trump is amazing when it comes to this. He doesn't even put it on paper. It's all in his head.
Listen,
and he's generally off within maybe, plus or minus that 2-3%, which is, of course, any realistic margin of error. But when I used to be the treasurer for multiple boards, imagine this, John, as a real estate guy, which you are. Every board that I sat on either was flat for increases in common charge, or we had a reduction. And I did that for 10 years straight. No common charge increase. Now, all of a sudden, with building, you start taking a look, and all of a sudden, it's like you're up 4%, 3%, 6.5%, because these folks, they don't have the qualification, and neither does Mandani when it comes to understanding the budget. Where you have expense increase, you need to find a decrease. You need to offset it. And generally, if you put out proper bids and you evaluate it and you evaluate the people you're putting the bid to, you should be able to have a reduction. And I don't see, every year Trump would put out a letter congratulating the board for another fine year of Trump management. We're now having a 0.5% common charge decrease. Now, 0.5% doesn't sound like something, but you know what? It's a whole lot better than 6% increase.
It's a decrease.
Right.
Michael Cohen, I have to tell you, the biggest response you're getting from your appearance here this morning on Sid and Friends in the Morning, the Katz and Company takeover here at WABC, are people who were really affected by your description of your conditions in prison. So I have to ask you, because this reminds me of some of the stories we heard about the J6ers and how they were treated really, really poorly. Are you for large-scale prison reform now that you've been through this?
You have no idea. In fact, Jesse Jackson Jr. and Jesse is a very good friend of mine. I was very close to his father, God rest his soul. And we created something called TEPO, T-E-P-O. It's actually right now in the hands of the president. I know it for a fact. I know that he has received it. It's called TEPO, T-E-P-O, Trump Emancipation Proclamation Order. In fact, Jesse and I even wrote the executive order onto it, whereby after you complete your sentence, assuming that you have no additional violation, this is only, by the way, for nonviolent offenders. This is not for violent offenders in any way, shape, or form. As long as you have absolutely completed what the judge sentenced you. So if you have restitution, you have to pay that. If you had supervised release, you have to be finished with that. This is not a commutation at all. You're already finished. You are given a pardon so that the felony conviction comes off. You know the 70 million Americans that are affected by this?
Wow.
70 million. I couldn't believe it either, but we have all the information that validates that number, 70 million. I think it would be one of the most important things that the president can actually do, because imagine this. My folks called me on this one. If hypothetically I moved to a community like where my parents live in Florida that has a country club attached to the facility, and I want to become a member of that country club, I cannot. As a felon, you can't become a member.
Michael,
so I'm saying to myself,
what about conditions on the inside? What about conditions on the, because you described some Eighth Amendment violations there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I brought a lawsuit under the 4th, the 8th, and also First Amendment. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. They rejected. My lawyers were 100% certain we were going to at least get an opportunity to tell the story. No. Supreme Court rejected. They rejected our writ of certiorari.
Michael, do you have friends in the Trump administration?
Do I have friends? There are people who I still know. It's hard to
Do you speak to them?
It's hard to call me a friend. No.
They were your friend at one time.
Well,
I understand.
Were they friend? Let's just say that we were very well acquainted. At the time that they knew me, I was...
With a man.
I was at the top of the food chain. Right. Yeah. And so when I would come down to the floor, they weren't all that happy because it generally meant somebody was going to get a kick right in the backside. Right. And so on. I didn't normally go down there.
So people feared you.
Yeah, more so than...
People fear power.
Right. And also I was never the one coming down there just to turn around and slap you on the back and say, great job. It was more, hey, this is a problem. I mean, I'll give you an example. I showed up to one guy's office. I won't mention who because there was a complaint that he was harassing.
I don't like secrets. Who's the guy?
I won't say it, but there was a complaint that there was some sexual harassment going on. And I knew the young girl's mom. And I walked into his office. I took my cell phone and I said to him, I'm going to be very clear. I want you to turn your cell phone on right now, and I want you to record this. I want you to record this conversation. And he turned around and he was like, well, just do it. So he turns it on, and I start to outline to him what took place. And I said, let me be clear. Not only if I hear that you reach out to her one more time, literally one more time, not only am I going to personally grab you by your ear and walk you and throw you right out the door, I'm going to crack you across the mouth too, because what you're saying to this young girl is inappropriate. And he was like, I had too much to drink. I was like, I know you as a person, and I'm shocked that this is happening. Just make sure it never happens again. And by the way, it's coming from above.
Michael, you've climbed the mountain, man.
I also fell down the mountain.
You fell down the mountain, but that doesn't mean you can't climb the mountain again.
Well, I don't know. I got a bad hip.
Have you given up on yourself?
I have a bad hip now.
No, have you given up on yourself? I'm serious.
No.
Okay, so
clearly not.
He wants to make a big comeback, and we're going to help him make a big comeback.
That's it. That's what I want to hear. And you know what? You've got the best team here behind you, man.
You know, I know John a very long time. I remember when John was going to run for mayor, and I remember
we had breakfast at the Pierre Hotel in 2013.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday.
You know, John's a guy that gives opportunities to people that don't deserve it. You know, there was one guy here.
I don't know if I deserve it.
Listen,
Mateo, do I deserve it?
Yes, you do.
Do you think so?
I think you do.
I don't know.
Michael, I think you deserve it. You've been through a lot. You fell down from the mountain. You broke a hip. You're going to come back. But there was a guy here.
Go ahead.
John, let me finish, please.
Now tell us.
There was a guy here that was a lifelong liar, a discredited human being, a rat, a subway stinker. Okay?
Who are we talking
His name was, I'm not afraid to say names. His name is Curtis Sliwa.
Yeah, I don't
And
like
I
it.
told John many years ago, I said, John, why do you have a guy that all he does is lie and talk bad about people? See, I can't speak bad about people. I love people. I love my city. I'm going to bring topics to the table. Like this Sunday on No Excuses, I had a warden from Rikers Island that's going to be on. I have a former prisoner that's going to be on.
I'm so sorry. I never finished my whole thing with the TPO, with the Trump Emancipation Proclamation. We need that, but go ahead.
Let him finish. Well, he's the special guest today.
So Curtis Sliwa is a guy that John gave an opportunity to for decades.
Yep.
Well, and I supported him for 40 years.
You know what? And when I ran for mayor, I went to John. His daughter supported me as a Republican. He did not. John did not. And I went to John and I said, John, you know the character of Curtis Sliwa. You know he's a liar. You know he makes stories up. Why are you supporting him? Why are we throwing this election away? Because if I win the primary, I will beat Eric Adams. Because I had the Latino and the black support to beat Eric Adams. But no. You know, John is a loyal guy, and he stuck with Curtis. He stuck with him, and guess what? Curtis has been an embarrassment. Now he's working for another station that is a women's station, a woman's something. But Curtis is a discredited human being that John gave an opportunity.
So I'm sure a bunch of the listeners saying, yeah, but you're speaking to a convicted liar as well. And you know what? I'm so thankful, John, again.
You're not a convicted liar.
I am. Because I actually pled to lying to Congress under what's called the 1001 violation. I own that. I did. I pled to it. I want people to know, though, because I could not be more thankful today to be here at this table in this station.
With me.
With you and with Jake, but mostly with John. And to be starting here with When You Know, You Know. When most people don't even know what the conviction of my lie was even about.
Tell us about it.
Do you know what it is, Jake?
No clue.
Mateo?
You know?
I have some knowledge, but I want you to tell the story.
I'm going to tell you because most people have no idea. Oh, Cohen, you're a convicted liar. And so, okay. My conviction, you're not going to believe me when I tell you, the number of times that I had stated to the Senate Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, I submitted a letter that I had read into the record on the number of times that I claimed to have spoken to Donald Trump about the failed Trump Tower Moscow real estate project. In my letter, I stated 3. That I spoke to Trump 3 times about it, when in fact, I spoke to him about it 10 times. That is the lie that I had to plead guilty to. And I already see John's face like, stop. No, that's exactly what the lie was. 3 versus 10 times. As if it matters. It was a failed project. I never went to Russia. I never went to Moscow. The deal started and ended with a letter of intent, plain and simple. All of a sudden, this is something that the federal government needed to have. They desperately needed to have it for whatever the reason may be. And I was burnt out. It was post already what had taken place with the Southern District of New York. Totally different case. So yes, I pled to a lying to Congress, 1001 violation based upon 3 versus 10 times. And if that makes me into a liar, okay, I'll accept that. See, my family stayed together. A lot of people say, well, you have a great wife. I do. And you have great kids. Everybody stayed together because they know the truth. Yes, there was a mistake in my tax return. I acknowledge that. But I never received, like everybody else, never, ever received a letter that said, Mr. Cohen, that there's a problem, and so please contact your tax advisor or your lawyer. Come in. Here's the agent. So, no. 48 hours from a Friday at 5:30 p.m., Mr. Cohen, either you go in and you plead guilty to what we tell you to on Monday at 9 a.m., or we're filing an 80-page indictment that includes your wife. And people saying already, oh, come on, what were they going after your wife for? Ready for this one?
Yes.
This makes it even crazier. This is how corrupt the system is. So when you ask me, John, that incredible question of whether or not that I intend to continue for reform, 100%. That is my commitment to America. I want to say, I don't want anybody.
So what do they want to go after your wife for?
Oh, well, I don't want any other American to have to experience what I've experienced. They were going after my wife. I was the subject of identity theft. There was a guy with his picture on a New York State driver's license going to my banks, Capital One, and taking money out of my account.
This I remember. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
Not once, but it happened to me twice. When I was receiving the $35,000 checks from Trump, I had already taken my name off the accounts so that they couldn't do it. It was to protect Capital One and the accounts. When I got the checks, my wife signed the checks and deposited it into her bank account, simply, right, to deposit. They knew me because we were, the bank was located at the base of the building I live in. So they knew me very well. They knew my wife. They were going to charge my wife as being a co-conspirator to the hush money payment.
She's your wife. She owns 50% of everything you own.
No, she owns 100%.
Hold on.
100%.
Lee Harris is here for a break. Lee Harris is here.
Part of my job, John, is to keep us legal, and so here is our legal ID. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, WLIR Hampton Bays, and WLID Patchogue.
Wow.
That was Lee, but I'll tell you, Ted Koppel imitated Lee.
Ted Koppel's got nothing on Lee.
No. Listen, Lee is the voice, man.
By the way,
he is the voice. If I had that voice,
my God,
I'd be talking to myself all day.
Michael
you have
Cohen,
no idea what you'd be doing to yourself.
Michael Cohen, you talked about a lot of your concerns for the whole country. You talked about the divisions of the country. I want to tell you a little story and get your reaction to it. Many years I was an executive producer at CNBC, and we would get these very private meetings, the executive producer, maybe 5 of us, with big newsmakers, Tim Cook, and once we had one with Ken Griffin. It's about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Ken Griffin, what's the biggest thing holding the economic growth of America behind? And I was expecting him to say regulations, taxes, and he got really serious. And he said, at the time he was still in Chicago, Citadel, and he said, here's the biggest reason. Not one person who graduates from the Chicago public school system, graduates, not dropped out, can I hire. Not even to be a receptionist, not even to hold the door open. They don't even have those skills. That's what's holding back the great economic engine of this country. The fact that we have so many millions of kids who are being completely not served by the educational system. So, Michael Cohen, what's your take on what's holding us back? We've gone through a lot of the legal system abuses that you went through and so many other people go through. We've gone through the divisiveness. What's your take on that? What's the thing that's holding us back? We've had a great country, a great 250 years, but we're not going to get to 350 if we keep.
Well, I'm not so sure I agree with that. I think America is still great. I think America has always been great. Think about if you had to leave today. I'm so disgusted with America. Where are you going? Name another country that even comes close to America. Now, yeah, there are places I would go for a week,
vacation,
for 2 weeks, right? Maybe even a month. Sure. Who wouldn't want to hang out on the beaches of like St. Bart's or
Greece,
right? Or Greece or the somewhere on the Amalfi Coast,
Dominican
right?
Republic.
I've been to the Dominican.
They let you in?
They did.
Oh,
they did.
They welcomed you.
By the way,
they said this is one of our guys.
Just so you know, because as a felon, you can't go to England. You can't go to Australia, New Zealand. You have to get a special visa within which as a felon to get in.
So we can't hang out and travel, Michael.
Not true, because I got my Canadian citizenship as well. I was my father was Canadian, so I was technically born a Canadian. I was able. We
can get you an Albanian citizenship too if you want.
Then I become violent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, let me just say, there is no country like America, but that doesn't mean that we can't even be better. When Trump talks about our economy, he's not wrong. We are the strongest economy in the history of mankind by at least 2.5 times. Nobody even comes close. China, where our GDP is $30 trillion. Theirs is like 17. Think about that. And they're number 2. Nobody even comes close to us.
Well,
militarily.
Dynamite year. Oil is down. Hold on. We're going to have a dynamite year. Oil was down to 67 or 68. I predicted it on Maria Bartiromo's show a few months ago.
Did you buy any futures?
We're in the oil business.
I know you are.
So we know what we're doing because we protect ourselves and through hedges.
Yep.
And oil is down. And previous people in the administration. How much is it today?
68, 63. It is trading.
63.
The stock markets are closed, but the oil futures are trading.
Okay, and some of the oil executives in the administration were saying, "Oh, it's going to stay up till 2027," and it pissed off me and the president, and because we talked about it, and then everybody's saying is. Interest rates are going to go up, and Waltz is he's not going to lower rates. Well, I think rates are going to go down. The 10-year bill was going down a couple of days ago. Now, the other big thing, our economy. Our economy is the strongest it's ever been, and the trillions of dollars of new money that's coming into America to build new factories and is not even factored in yet.
Yep, it's not.
And by the way, and what I predicted in the middle of 2025, I predicted a $50,000 Dow Jones average in the middle of 25, and it happened.
Yep.
I predicted before 2026, I predicted a 60,000 Dow for 2026 December. and it's already yesterday just about hit 53,000.
Yep.
Did you see the story?
I remember when John made that prediction.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in for one
sure.
more quick
Sure.
second?
Michael
So
Cohen.
here's something interesting. When you asked me if Trump would call me, would I take the call? After listening to John, I said, yeah. And you know what role that I would love to play? I'd like to be the guy who deploys the trillions of dollars into manufacturing, into building. No. That was my forte for him.
And then we need more immigration because there's nobody to run those new factories.
By the way,
Legal.
100%. And make them legal.
Immigration. Now I'm getting excited. Immigration.
Whoa.
And
Jump back.
Don't forget, me and Bill Fugazi ran Ellis Island.
By the way, why wouldn't he change that name?
Huh?
Why would you not change that name? Imagine going through Fugazi.
Why not?
Isn't that from the movie Donnie Brasco?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill and Lee Iacocca was honorary chairman, and we ran Ellis Island. But the immigrants coming through Ellis Island had to pledge allegiance to the American people and to the American Constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
my father,
to the
my
flag.
wife, my grandmother,
my grandfathers. Okay,
my grandmother was from Argentina. My grandmother was from Argentina.
Now,
my father's from Poland, right? Then via Canada. My wife is from Ukraine.
¿Tú hablas español?
Sí.
No me digas.
No. Yo
Qué bien.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I also speak some Russian too.
And so what happens? These migrants, whether Obama or Biden let them in, they have no pledge allegiance to the flag. They have no pledge allegiance to working hard in America. It's what they want to take away from America, take away from our citizens. So there's a big difference between migrants and immigrants.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And as we're hitting the 4th of July, right, our independence and so on, 100%. We need, and this country is a country of immigrants, but we want immigrants that are going to benefit the country. And by the way, imagine.
Jake Novak is 5 generations here already.
So,
he's
and
almost
he's lived in every state.
He's almost like coming over to Mayflower.
1840 from Germany.
Really?
Yeah, 6th generation.
I knew I didn't like him. There's something about him I totally didn't like.
The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.